In 5000 BC, people used their fingers to untangle their hair. It was painful, slow, and often pulled out clumps of hair by the roots. Ancient humans had the same hair problems we do today: knots, tangles, and matted sections. But they had no tools to fix it. Some people used sharp sticks or animal bones to separate tangled hair. Others just cut off the matted parts with crude knives. The first combs were made from fish bones. People discovered that the natural spacing between fish spine bones could separate hair strands. But there was something about early combs that almost killed people, something that made them more dangerous than helpful. Let's go back to why untangled hair was so important. Because for ancient humans, messy hair wasn't just uncomfortable, it was life-threatening. Tangled, matted hair trapped insects, dirt, and parasites. Lice, fleas, and mites lived in dirty hair and spread diseases. Hair became a breeding ground for infections. In hot climates, matted hair trapped heat and sweat against the scalp. This caused painful sores and skin infections. Some people died from scalp infections that spread to their bloodstream. Long tangled hair also got caught in branches, tools, and weapons during hunting or fighting. Hair could literally get you killed if it tangled in the wrong place at the wrong time. Clean, well-groomed hair was a sign of health and status. It showed you had time to maintain yourself. Messy hair marked you as poor, sick, or outcast. In 4000 BC, ancient Egypt developed the first sophisticated combs. Egyptian combs were carved from ivory, bone, or wood. Wealthy Egyptians had combs made from hippopotamus ivory. The ivory was hard enough to work through thick, curly hair without breaking. Egyptian combs had two sides. One side had widely spaced teeth for detangling. The other side had closely spaced teeth for removing lice and debris. But Egyptian combs were also status symbols. The wealthy had combs decorated with gold inlay, precious stones, and carved animals. Poor people used crude wooden combs or just their fingers. Egyptian pharaohs were buried with elaborate combs for the afterlife. King Tutankhamun's tomb contained over 20 different combs made from ivory, gold, and ebony. The Egyptians believed well-groomed hair was necessary in the afterlife. Gods would judge you based on your appearance. Messy hair could prevent you from entering paradise. In 3000 BC, ancient Mesopotamians created combs from different materials. They used bronze, silver, and even gold for the wealthy classes. Metal combs were stronger than bone or wood. They could work through the thickest, most tangled hair without breaking. But metal combs had a serious problem. The metal teeth were sharp and often had rough edges from primitive manufacturing. People cut their scalps, ears, and necks using metal combs. Bronze combs developed a green patina over time. This copper corrosion was toxic. People were slowly poisoning themselves by using old bronze combs on their scalps. Some wealthy Mesopotamians died from copper poisoning. Their hair was perfectly groomed, but the metal combs had killed them through repeated exposure to toxic metals. In 2000 BC, ancient Greeks improved comb design. Greek combs were made from boxwood, a hard wood that didn't splinter or break easily. Greeks created the first double-sided combs. One side for detangling, one side for styling. This became the standard design that's still used today. But Greeks also discovered something important about hair care. They realized that combing wet hair caused less damage than combing dry hair. Greek athletes oiled their hair before combing. Olive oil made hair slippery and easier to detangle. This prevented hair breakage and scalp injuries. Greek women had elaborate hairstyles that required multiple combs. They used wide-toothed combs for washing, medium combs for styling, and fine-toothed combs for removing all lice. Rich Greek women had slaves whose only job was hair maintenance. These slaves were experts with different types of combs and styling techniques. In 100 AD, Romans perfected comb manufacturing. Roman combs were precisely made with evenly spaced teeth and smooth edges. Romans created specialized combs for different purposes: beard combs, hair combs, and even combs for cleaning fingernails. Each had a specific tooth spacing and shape. But Romans also used combs as weapons. Hairpins and metal combs were sharpened and used for self-defense. Roman women could kill attackers with their hair accessories. Roman soldiers carried small combs in their armor. Clean, well-groomed hair was part of military discipline. Messy hair was punished by commanding officers. The Romans also created the first decorative combs. Combs carved with scenes of battles, gods, and animals. These were worn as jewelry, not just hair tools. In 500 AD, when Rome fell, comb technology disappeared for centuries. Medieval Europe went backward in hair care. Medieval people rarely bathed or groomed their hair. Most people had lice, fleas, and other parasites living in their hair. Combs became rare and expensive. The Catholic Church taught that vanity was sinful. Spending time grooming your hair was considered prideful. Many people deliberately kept their hair messy as a sign of religious devotion. Medieval combs were crude wooden tools with uneven teeth. They often broke during use, leaving splinters in people's scalp. Hair care became painful and dangerous. Wealthy medieval nobles still used quality combs, but they hid their grooming habits. Public hair care was socially unacceptable. People groomed in private to avoid religious criticism. In 1000 AD, Islamic cultures preserved and improved comb technology. Muslim inventors created new materials and designs while Europe stagnated. Islamic combs were made from precious materials like jade, coral, and mother of pearl. They were precisely crafted with smooth, even teeth. Muslim scholars wrote detailed treatises on proper hair care. They understood the connection between clean hair and good health. Hair grooming was part of religious cleanliness requirements. Islamic combs often had religious inscriptions or geometric patterns, beautiful designs that celebrated both faith and craftsmanship. Meanwhile, in Europe, most people still used their fingers or crude wooden tools. The gap in hair care technology was enormous. In 1400 AD, the Renaissance brought renewed interest in personal grooming. European comb makers started learning from Islamic and Byzantine designs. Renaissance combs were made from horn, tortoise shell, and ivory. These materials were flexible enough to bend without breaking, but strong enough to work through tangled hair. Wealthy Renaissance families commissioned custom combs from master craftsmen. These combs were works of art, decorated with family crests, religious symbols, and intricate carvings. But Renaissance combs were incredibly expensive. A quality ivory comb cost more than most people earned in a month. Hair grooming remained a luxury for the wealthy. Renaissance artists painted portraits showing elaborate combs as symbols of wealth and status. The quality of your comb indicated your social position. In 1600, the first plastic-like material was invented. Tortoiseshell became the premium material for comb making. Tortoiseshell combs were strong, flexible, and naturally antibacterial. They didn't harbor bacteria like wood or bone combs. But tortoiseshell was extremely expensive and hard to obtain. Tortoiseshell came from hawksbill sea turtles. Hunters killed thousands of turtles to supply the comb industry. The species nearly went extinct from overhunting. By the 1700s, wealthy people had collections of different tortoiseshell combs for different occasions. Formal combs, everyday combs, and travel combs, all made from endangered turtle shells. In 1869, everything changed. John Wesley Hyatt invented celluloid, the first true plastic. This revolutionized comb manufacturing forever. Celluloid could be molded into any shape and was much cheaper than natural materials. For the first time in history, high-quality combs became affordable for ordinary people. Mass production made identical combs with perfectly spaced teeth. No more handcrafted variations that could damage hair or scalp. But early celluloid combs had a dangerous flaw. They were highly flammable. People's hair caught fire from celluloid combs near candles or fireplaces. There are documented cases of people dying from hair fires caused by celluloid combs. The plastic would ignite and spread flames through oiled hair in seconds. By 1900, safer plastics were developed. Combs became mass-produced, affordable, and safe. The modern comb industry was born. Different plastics were used for different types of combs. hard plastics for detangling, flexible plastics for styling, and anti-static materials for fine hair. Modern comb manufacturing uses precision molding to create perfectly smooth teeth. Computer-controlled machinery ensures consistent spacing and eliminates sharp edges. Today's combs are scientifically designed. Tooth spacing is calculated based on hair thickness and scalp sensitivity. Materials are tested for durability and safety. Modern combs include specialized designs unknown to ancient people. Wide-tooth combs for curly hair, fine-tooth combs for straight hair, and detangling combs with flexible teeth. Some modern combs have anti-static properties to prevent flyaway hair. Others have built-in conditioners or oils that release during combing. Carbon fiber combs are stronger than steel, but lighter than feather. Titanium combs never break and can last decades. Materials that would seem magical to ancient comb users. Think about this progression. From fish bones that barely worked to precision-engineered plastic tools. Most of human history involved painful, damaging hair care. Your great-great-grandparents might have used bone combs that pulled out hair by the roots. Your great-grandparents might have had the first mass-produced plastic combs. The comb in your bathroom has technology that didn't exist when your grandparents were young. Precision spacing, anti-static materials, flexible teeth. Something as simple as detangling your hair was painful, expensive, and sometimes deadly for most of human history. And even today, over 2 billion people worldwide don't have access to quality combs. They still use improvised tools or their fingers for hair care. The comfortable grooming you take for granted is still a luxury in much of the world. From fish bones to plastic precision. From deadly metal poisoning to safe daily use. From status symbols for the wealthy to tools everyone can afford. 7,000 years of human innovation, all so you can have good hair days. What started as survival grooming became the science of hair care.